The other thing I was going to ask you about, when you're a kid, you get picked for basketball team. Times you get picked last. You were on a team that cut you, and then you were on another team, and you were better on the second team. Is that how it works? Some team called Gravity? Is that what is that?
For League of Legends?
Yeah, League of Legends.
So the first team that I played on, it was just like a really quick jump. Or I mean, I played on some teams here and there that weren't. I mean, we had a gaming house for one of them, but it wasn't top of the line. The one where I went to the top of the line, we performed really well. Like we came in 4 out of 10, which is like for a new rookie joining the team, that's a pretty big deal. And then the best player on the number 1 team got booted. So that guy took my spot. And then I got that phone call and I started crying because I got kicked off my team.
I remember seeing this, yeah.
Things were going great. What happened? And then I helped build up a team.
Were you kicked off because you were the youngest or because he was support and you were support?
So I was a rookie. I had about like 5,000 followers on Twitter, 3,000 on Instagram. And the way these teams make money is they buy this keyboard, buy this headset. And so the player, we were pretty similar in skill level. I think maybe he was slightly better than me, but not enough to maybe kick someone because you have the synergy with the team and whatnot.
Right.
But a manager told me, he goes, listen, I'll tell you right now why I got kicked off this team is because he has 300,000 followers on Twitter and you don't.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, that kind of sucks. And really random, I wanted to be the best player with no social media. I thought I was gonna be like, oh everyone's gonna know me, and I'm not gonna have any social media. I thought I was so cool, and then 3 months later, I'm like, that was probably the dumbest idea anyone has ever had in their entire life, and this obviously helped prove that.
Did you go to another team after that?
So the owner of that team felt so bad for kicking me because it's not warranted to kick someone after they perform pretty well throughout the regular season and playoffs and whatnot. So he said, hey, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to build a team with you. We're going to get back in this league because there was 8 spots at the time and they were expanding to 10 that summer.
Yeah.
And so we built up a team, put a few friends together, and he helped salary all those players.
Wait, 10. So that means, before it was 5 and 3 backups and now it's 5 and 5 backups?
No. I'm talking about the nerd NFL, right?
Okay.
Like the Chargers, the Chiefs. There was 8 teams. So,
8 teams. Got it.
Yep. And then they were expanding to 10. So we built a team to hit those 2 spots to rejoin that league, and then that's how I got back in.
Were you better in the new team?
We were pretty, for a challenger team, we put together a team that could go head to head with the team that kicked me off the team. So that was pretty funny.
At that point, was it just a matter of your social media?
From getting kicked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Is that why you did better in the second team? Because you started to focus on that?
Do you think you were better with the second team?
There were pros and cons. I mean, the team that I was on originally had some veterans that have been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
So obviously that experience could help a rookie. But now that we brought in some other rookies to join me to get back in the league, it was kind of like we were just being really good off our sure skill that we just had.
I remember one of my favorite quotes, because one of my favorite basketball players is Charles Barkley, and he talked about the first time he went to an All-Star game, and he was like, dude, if I got to play with these guys every day, we'd win all the time. It's like, it was so obvious to me that like when I was playing with Dr. J and it was Michael Jordan, and I was playing against Magic, and Isaiah Thomas was over here, and there's Patrick Ewing. He's like, it was very obvious to me that these guys were better than anyone that I played with, and if I could play with players like this all the time, it would be good. For you, do you ever have a situation where like, Jesus, this guy's fucking incredible. This is so much easier to be a midfielder for Ronaldo or Messi than it is to be, you know what I'm saying, for somebody else. Do you notice when you're playing with somebody who's just, is it significantly easier? Do you ever get frustrated because somebody can't hold up their end? Is it ever like that? Yeah.
So being in a professional gaming position, it's so cutthroat. If you perform bad for 2 weeks, you're like off the team. And I remember one season we brought this player in from Korea. His name was Move. He was so good. We just started winning everything after we brought in this guy. And he could hardly speak English, but he was just he would go, I go here. That was his conversation with us playing. But he was so good that the language barrier we had was out-trumped by his just skill. And he'd just be doing things with, whoa, why are you in their enemy base, dude? It's not safe over there. Just killing 2 people. What's going on?
Yeah. So you notice when you play with somebody that good.
Oh yeah.
It's really. Could you be able to be an effective team and have no communication, or is it something you need to see all the time?
It's so important to
the communication.
Yeah. I think part of my skill wasn't so much the I could out-click you. I could out-communicate with you and help my team to move certain places just by using my voice to work together to accomplish a goal. There's a saying in the game where 5 people doing one thing, even though it's wrong, is better than 5 people doing individual right things.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
In basketball, it's usually the center who, because he can see all the other players, he's going to call out screens, and he's the one who's going to talk on defense to tell everybody switch or tell everybody go under the screen, over the screen, because he can see everything.
I got help. I remember screaming that.
Do you have this? Is it the same thing where is one player have a more have a perspective to help the other players better?
So my role, the support, is quote unquote the shittiest player on the team because it's the easiest one to play mechanically.
Yeah.
So they would often help with like when someone uses an ability on the enemy team, they would take the mental note to time it to know and to tell your team that this person doesn't have this, or you look at the map a lot of the time and you set up vision throughout the map and you tell your team where everyone's at. That was my role, to communicate extremely well with all my teammates.
You said each player has like 4 abilities and they have like a refresh rate on some of them. Okay, now I understand. All right, I should have played before.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
I could have made fun of you the whole time.
I should have played, man. I honestly don't have any idea.
Bree got pretty good at it too. She could play with us.
I did.